Vice President Osinbajo inaugurates Board of Agencies. Borno government sets up committee on non-governmental organizations. Group supports Buhari's refusal to assent to electoral bill. Sultan of Sokoto asks Muslims to look out for new moon. This is the News Hour on Television Nigerian. I am Imabong Edukere. The Vice President Yemi Osinbajo will inaugurate the Board of Agencies under the supervision of the Office of the Vice President. This follows a recent appointment to the board of the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, in Plateau State. A statement by the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation disclosed that the new appointee, Ignatius Longjan, is to replace Senator John Shagaya, who died earlier in the year. The Office of the Vice President supervises the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, the National Boundary Commission, Border Development Agency, among others. The Borno State Governor, Hashim Shettima, has approved the setting up of a high-powered committee to review the operations of non-governmental organizations in the state. The governor, who revealed this at a meeting of the State Security Council in Maiduguri, explained the decision follows reports by security agencies and other well-meaning individuals in the state. He charged the committee of investigate sources of funding, profile of staff, and to determine whether NGOs are duly registered by relevant federal and state authorities. The committee is also to determine the relevance of the organizations to the needs and requirements of beneficiaries, especially internally displaced persons. A sociocultural group, Yoruba Council of Youth Worldwide, has called on Nigerians not to condemn President Muhammadu Buhari for withholding assent on the amended Electoral Act passed by the National Assembly. The group made the call in a statement it made available to the media in Lagos recently. The president of the group, Oladotun Hassan, said that the three arms of government should partner in the discharge of their functions. Hassan, while calling on the executive to shun the temptation to interfere in the function of the other arms of government, urged politicians to work towards bettering the lot of the people. President Muhammadu Buhari has condoled with the family and friends of late Bishop of Kafanchan Catholic Diocese in Kaduna State, Joseph Danlami Babari, who died recently. The president described Bishop Babari as a committed Christian and an advocate for justice, stating that the late clergy fought against all forms of injustice. He said that the former head of the Kafanchan Catholic Diocese helped the poor and established schools for the benefit of the people. When we return from this break, the Sultan asked Muslims to look out for a new moon. The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sahad Abubakar III, has called on Muslims to look out for the new moon of Rajab. In a statement by the chairman of the Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs to the Sultanate Council, Sambo advised adherents to look out for the new moon on Saturday, March 17, 2018. The statement advised faithful to report sighting of the moon to the nearest district head for transmission to Sultanate. Staff of the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland, have called for a board strike. The strike, which will be the first of its kind, follows a 7.5% cut in the salary staff. The cut is the equivalent of a month's pay and was proposed by a group of independent experts known as the International Civil Service Commission after a survey of the cost of living in 8 United Nations locations. The industrial action will shut down the Human Rights Council and other meetings held in the UN European headquarters in the Swiss city. On business, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, says that the meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee will hold in early April 2018. The CBN governor was speaking at the sideline of the commissioning of Santi Sugar's estate in Niger State. He said that the meeting, which originally scheduled for April 20th, 2018, was moved because of the Senate's decision to screen the nominees. Emefiele also disclosed that the CBN took part in funding of the 100-ton per annum sugar factory. According to him, the Apex Bank provided 25 billion naira loan at a single-digit interest rate with a tenure of 10 years. Sports news. The diplomatic split between the United Kingdom and Russia is gathering a haze above England's participation in the FIFA World Cup coming up in the second quarter of 2018. A haze England's manager, Gareth Southgate, has dismissed, positing that the priority is to ensure the safety and security of English players and supporters. Southgate says that his team is desperate to be at the World Cup. The current danger to England's appearance at the Mundial following soaring political tension between both countries over Russia's alleged poisoning of ex-spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia, a unilateral move which sparked off retaliation from Britain. At the last count, the United Kingdom expelled 23 Russian diplomats and suspended high-level contacts with the East European country. On the foreign scene, Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa says that the country has moved on from the Robert Mugabe era. President Mnangagwa said this in response to claims by his predecessor that he was ousted in an illegal coup d'etat. This is Mugabe's first public statement since his resignation in November 2017. According to the erstwhile veteran president, some people have refused to call his ousting a coup d'etat. That's been the News Hour on Television Nigerian. Before we go, a recap of the major stories. Vice President Osinbajo inaugurates Board of Agencies. Borno government sets up committee on non-governmental organizations. Group supports Buhari's refusal to assent to bill. Sultan of Sokoto asks Muslims to look out for new moon. I'm Imabong Edukere. Before I go, I'll leave you with this thought. Stereotypes kill brilliant minds, just as they enhance mediocrity. Thanks for staying tuned and do have a good night's rest.